every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to CoreTV Prime Time News. I am Frank Omalape. In our major story, members of Boko Haram killed Emir of Goza in Borno State following an ambush on his way to a funeral ceremony. Also in this program, Defense Headquarters uncovers plot by some groups to discredit the military as battle against insurgency continues. Leadership struggle in the fold of APC in Ogun State widens as factional leader Olusegun Osunbagbaje seals any hope of reconciliation with Governor Ibikunle Amosu. Outside Nigeria, hundreds of protesters jeered at the burial of Poland's last communist leader, Wojciech Jaruzelski, in a sign that controversial figure continues to polarize Poles even in death.
And business top story. National Union of Electricity Employees vow not to set proposed increase in electricity tariff in the country.
Sports. Arsene Wenger agrees a new 3-year contract with top English Premier League side Arsenal.
Thank you for joining us again on our primetime news. Now the details. Suspected insurgents have killed the emir of Goza in Borno State, Idrissa Timta, in an attack along Tasha Alade in Biu local government area. The secretary to the state government, Babajida, made this known in a statement issued in Maiduguri. She says the 3 traditional rulers who drove in the same vehicle were on their way to Biu to pick the emir of Biu. The 4 traditional rulers had planned to drive in convoy to Gombe State to attend the funeral of the emir of Gombe, who was to be buried on Friday. The late emir was recently elevated to the position of a first-class traditional ruler by Governor Kashim Shettima. And while the Defense Headquarters say it has uncovered a plot by some groups to embark on a campaign of calumny aimed at discrediting the military. This is contained in a statement signed by Director of Defense Information Chris Olukolade in Abuja. The statement says the campaign was aimed at indicting the military and its operations in the northern part of the country. The statement alleged that the campaign was expected to forcibly whip up sentiments of genocide allegedly targeted against a particular religious group. It added that the perpetrators also hoped to use it to gain some mileage in the drive to secure international attention. The statement, however, advised the public to watch out and not allow themselves to be hoodwinked by what it called the acts of infamy orchestrated by desperate groups. The movement for the emancipation of the Niger Delta has suspended all acts of sabotage, including what it describes as incessant attacks on oil and gas pipelines. The militant group is also demanding the release of Henry and Charles Oka from detention as a condition for dialogue with the Nigerian government. Men spokesman Jomo Ogbomo said in an open letter to President Jonathan that the gesture was in response to the olive branch he extended to all aggrieved groups in his Democracy Day. The group also demanded the suspension of court proceeding and presidential pardon for all its members, either convicted or waiting trial. Men admitted that it carried out the October 1, 2010 bombing to counter the impression that it no longer existed after a number of prominent militants had accepted government's amnesty offer. Henry Oka, a leader of the militant group, is serving a 24-year term in South Africa in connection with the 2010 Independence Day bombing. His brother, Charles, is also facing trial over alleged involvement in the attack. Reactions continue to trail President Jonathan's declaration of outright war against insurgency and the offer of amnesty to repentant terrorists. Bede Okoro went to town to feel the pulse of the nation on the issue filed in this report. That report as we proceed when it's ready. Now, there seems to be no end in sight to the leadership struggle in the fold of Ogun State All Progressives Congress. The factional leader, Olusegun Osunbonso, has sealed any hope of reconciliation with Governor Ibikunle Amosu. The former governor made this pledge while speaking with his loyalists in Abeokuta at a consultative forum. Olajumoke Olatunji attended the forum and brought back this report.
That all is not well within the fold of the All Progressives Congress in Ogun State is an understatement. Olusegun Osunbonso, who was executive governor of the state between 1999 and 2003, is a loggerhead with incumbent governor Ibikunle Amosu over an issue that is not clearly defined in the public space. This development led to the party having two state executives, as the last APC State Congress was conducted by two parallel bodies, the Amosu faction and the Osunbonso-led group. Former Governor Olusegun Osunbonso vowed never to accept any more of the governor's pretended regret of his disregard for constituted authorities. He assured that none of his followers will work for Amosu's return to power, nor will accept commissioner's position from the governor.
These APC factions, Osunbonso factions, is the authentic factions in Ogun State, authentic ESCO, you understand, and is the owner of the party.
You harmonize where there's an agreement. You accept begging where you know there's sincerity in the begging. But where you know there's no sincerity, there's no agreement, you stand on your feet. It has happened severally. We are fall victims of this kind of a thing. And that is why we decided, whatever happens, we are not going back. What is operating now has nothing to do with the success of the party. The only danger, the only fear is if we pick somebody out of this group, it's going to be a total failure.
This is not a Osunbonso faction. This is not a faction. This is an authentic APC in Ogun State. The matter of harmonization did not arise because, you know, in the guideline sent down by the National Secretariat toward the wards and local government to the state congresses, they have stimulated that those who paid their nomination fee at the ward level are the eligible candidates for the party.
However, Osunbonso and his loyalists were not certain if they will defect from the APC before the 2015 general elections.
Well, you wait for that. By the time it is time, you will say that is the wish of the people they have expressed. So they must have seen one or two things to express such a feelings, but what will be the outcome, we will know later.
English people will say once beaten, twice shy. For someone who you gave an opportunity once to turn back and face you, I'm very sure you will think twice, not even twice, you will think deeply before you allow such person again. So that is the situation on ground. There is already loss of trust. There is no trust between the two parties again. So there's no way we can harmonize. I can only say, let's wait and see. The event is unfolding, and very soon we will all see where we are going and where the whole thing will end.
As political gladiators battle for the soul of Ogun APC, no one knows for sure what the fortunes of the party will be in the 2015 elections. Olajumoke Olatunji, CoreTV News, Abeokuta.
The People's Democratic Party in Osun State has suspended Isiaka Adeleke, a former governor of the state. The chairman of the party in the state, Gani Olaoluwa, announced the suspension in a statement made available in Osogbo. According to Olaoluwa, the decision was taken at the Standing Executive Committee meeting of the party where activities of Adeleke were x-rayed. Olaoluwa says it was embarrassing and shameful that Adeleke could engage in anti-party activities when all hands should be on deck at ensuring that the PDP reclaims the state. Adeleke had on Thursday in Osogbo announced plans to defect from the PDP to the All Progressive Congress. The Public Service Forum, a quarterly platform where the Ekiti State Governor and the state civil servants meet to interact on burning issues, has been held in Ado-Ekiti. The first edition of such forum this year afforded civil servants in the opportunity of stabling their grievances before the state government. Rashid was there and filed in this report.
Continuation of his interaction with organs of government in the state, Governor Kayode Fayemi met with civil servants in Ado-Ekiti. Olubumifa Musaya, the Ekiti State Head of Service, in his opening remarks, regrets that some elements in the state are involved in propaganda aimed at pitching the governor and government workers against themselves.
And Mr. Governor has always emphasized this in all his interactions with us. It is therefore upsetting to us when we read such obnoxious messages which claim that I, as head of service, cannot guarantee any commitment made by Governor Fayemi to civil servants just because of election.
The workers wasted no time in pouring out their minds as to what they seem is not right in their various ministries.
Any forum like this, the judiciary people are always the legislature is not always respected.
Yes, we should have all kinds of government represented and their workers' concerns taken on board.
One of the biggest issues raised at the forum is discrimination in promotion of workers. The permanent secretary in the Civil Service Commission was called on to provide answers to the question owing to its technicalities.
There are some staff who is level 10 promoted to level 12, but as I'm speaking, they are not receiving their promotion letter.
These are people who have advanced up to a stage before the period when the schemes of service was adopted for implementation. All others below them, there is a minimum qualification which they ought to have, which is ND. So, and when you don't have the ND, the commission will not promote you.
The event, however, did not end without political coloration, as the governor used the opportunity to dispel reports that he has suspended interstate transfer of service.
Why we would suspend that, but there's a process to interstate transfer because it's largely exchange between states. So if we have people coming from Oyo State, we sometimes would wait to have enough people coming from Ekiti State to have that exchange. If it's not like that, sometimes it gets delayed, but it's not a suspension at all.
The APC-controlled state government and every other oppositions jostling for the governorship seat come June 21st are no doubt doing everything possible to gain the heart of Ekiti workers. The outcome of the governorship poll in the state will reveal where the loyalty of the majority of the civil servants lies. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado-Ekiti.
Still to come on CoreTV Prime Time News, men of the FEMA Task Force returned to base aftermath clash with the police in Lagos. Find out their resolve to rival LASMA and the control of traffic on the highways. Details after this time out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN. Everywhere you go.
This one wash challenge, you test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
CoreTV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station.
You're still watching CoreTV Prime Time News. For more information on our news and other programs, visit our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow us on Twitter at CoreTV News NG. And also on YouTube, www.youtube.com/CoreTV Space News. The last may not have been heard about the talks between the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, and Lagos Traffic Management Authority, LASMA. Men of the FEMA task force have insisted that they have the mandate of the federal government to maintain order on Lagos highways. Men of the Nigerian police attached to the Lagos State Governor's office had on Wednesday sacked the FEMA task force members from their office at the toll gate end of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Oluwaseyi Adegoke has more in this report from our studios.
It is a day some individuals will never forget in a hurry. Wednesday, May 28, 2014, men of the Nigerian Police Lagos State Governor Monitoring Unit and the Rapid Response Squad, popularly known as RRS, swept on the office of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, to dislodge a newly formed task force team, which is referred to as FEMA Task Force. It was alleged that this attack on the FEMA office and arrest of their members is in response to an earlier violent attack carried out by FEMA men while trying to dislodge Lagos State traffic officials from the highways. Ordinarily, one would have thought the arrest and damage done to the FEMA office would discourage the FEMA officials from reporting for duties. Contrary to the stand, the FEMA were back in office ready to take over control of Lagos roads once more. For the Assistant National Coordinator FEMA Shopi team, Lukman Oniyaomebi, the task force are on the road with the due approval of the federal government.
As I speak now, it's under control. Now, on that day, at night, the same day, the federal government intervened and the applicants were released that same day by the Commissioner of Police.
The instructor of FEMA Shopi Task Force team, Olatunji Abolade, took a swipe at the Nigerian police attached to the Lagos State Governor's office for the attack on their office, describing the act as barbaric.
This act is barbaric. The hatred started when we came out for exercise. We brought our students out to Ojota just to know what we taught them is. If they have known it, we went to take them for a test, a road test of traffic. That's where the hatred started.
Following the declaration of Lagos State government that the activities of the FEMA task force is unconstitutional and will not be accepted, and the refusal of the members of the task force to vacate Lagos roads, it seems commuters are heading for real chaos on the Lagos roads.
The National Industrial Court will on June 13 decide whether to go ahead with a suit filed by suspended Central Bank Governor Sanusi Lamido Sanusi to challenge his suspension by President Goodluck Jonathan. This was after Defense Counsel Michael Zekome had told Presiding Judge Babatunde Adejumo that all the parties have filed an appeal against the decision to transfer the case to the court. He made an oral application for a stay of proceeding pending the hearing and determination of its appeal by the appellate court. Justice Adejumo noted that the Section 47 of the National Industrial Court Act empowered the court to hear motions before it, but decided to wait till the appeal court takes a stand on the matter. Zekome later told journalists that the Federal High Court ought to have struck out the case since it ruled that it lacked jurisdiction on the matter.
Sanusi feels that Justice Kolawole should have heard the matter, that he shouldn't have declined jurisdiction. So on that ground, amongst others, he's appealing to the Court of Appeal. He wants the matter heard by the Federal High Court in accordance with according to them, Section 251 of the Constitution. We, on the other hand, agree with the judge, Justice Kolawole of the Federal Court, that he had no jurisdiction to hear the matter because of Section 254 of the Constitution, as amended, had overtaken Section 251 because Section 254 deals with matters concerning employment, labor, industrial relations, and trade union matters, and that Sanusi's appointment was employment related.
A federal lawmaker from Akwa Ibom State, Aloysius Etuk, is set to make National Assembly nullify the controversial pension bill in the state. The bill seeks to grant annual pension in excess of 100 million naira annually to former governors of the state and their deputies. Etuk, however, insists that the bill is not proper and he is keen on working against its implementation.
On the trade and the economy of the people, and it should not be accepted, and therefore that House of Assembly should be ashamed of herself to have passed such pension law. You are not talking about the economy, the economic strength of a state. When you have about 5, 6 former governors with 5, 6 former deputy governors, look at how much toll that will take on the economic strength of the state, and somebody will do that. In fact, it's very, very shameful that even the governor will ask for such. It shows our arrogance, or the level of arrogance of the man behind the bill. Man, I think everybody, not only Akwa Ibom, should condemn that in strongest term.
The proposal by the National Conference to have religious bodies pay taxes has come under heavy fire as religious leaders continue to condemn the move. Islamic scholar Ishaq Akitola and a Christian leader, Emmanuel Faludu, say that government has not justified taxes collected over the years. They made this known during a visit to our Lagos studios. Omotayo Alo has details.
Many religious organizations in the country are now running multi-billion naira investments which are regarded as religious ventures and thus not taxable by government. Recently, this drew the eye of delegates to the National Conference who engaged in heated arguments to put forth their different positions on the issue. However, religious leaders who will be directly affected if the proposal is accepted and included in the Nigerian Constitution are now speaking in total opposition to the proposal.
No, churches should not be taxed because the people that contributed the money must or should have been taxed from their own place of employment of labor. So if that is being taxed again, then that is multiple taxation.
When you talk of tax, it should be moderate. It should be affordable. There should be human angle to it. It should have a human face. But I know that it is only what I have that you can tax. You can't tax me for what I don't have.
Ishaq reasoned that if the government recognizes that the prayers of clerics is what holds the country together, then they should be ready to make some little sacrifices on behalf of religion. When asked if the proposal to stop government sponsorship of pilgrimage is in order, the both responded that the government should not withdraw its support for religious activities.
Instead of thinking of halting government support for pilgrims. They should stop corruption in government circles. Number two, they should stop the practice of favoring government officials on the issue of sponsorship.
It should not be that the government is giving it out to the churches and to the mosque and they are taking it back at the same time. The local government is to give 10 slots and they are the one that decides, and even you check, maybe there are not really genuine Muslims or leaders or church leaders. So that should be looked into. Once that is done, I think it's okay.
On terrorism, the religious leaders encourage all to join hands with the government in prosecuting the war on terror. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Lagos.
You're watching CoreTV Prime Time News. More reactions greet planned increase in electricity tariff. Find out the details as we bring you updates on business right after this timeout.
This one wash challenge will test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality Brand.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN, everywhere you go.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
CoreTV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station.
You're welcome to the world of business, and I am Sabana Izoku. The acting governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Salah Alade, says that Nigeria is spending $4 billion annually on the importation of rice. Alade stated this at the ongoing conference in Maputo, Mozambique capital. She said if Africa was able to transform the agricultural sector, it will be able to feed itself and have surplus for others. The acting CBN governor also said Nigerian government was doing everything possible to minimize risk in the sector to enable participation of local investors. She added the ongoing cultural transformation program had equally attracted many foreign investors. The National Union Electricity Employees says it will not accept the proposed increase in electricity tariff. According to the union, the planned tariff increase would only compound the hardship Nigerians were going through in the midst of erratic power supply. Secretary General of the union, Joe Ajero, stated that the powers that be in the sector were told at the beginning of the privatization exercise that any hike in tariff will add to the burden of the people, but they insisted they have their way by force. They added the government's plan to increase the tariff without due regards to the pathetic situation of the masses, particularly that of the workers, pensioners, and the unemployed, was unacceptable. Ajero says the problem in the power sector was not that of low or poor tariffs, but most visibly that of corruption and the desire of the new owners to make profits. And over to the maritime sector, business operators in the maritime industry have decried the high pricing of the services in the nation's seaports, saying this is depriving the ports of patronage. According to them, the development is not only depriving the ports of patronage, but is also leading to the non-recovery of investment costs in this industry. They added that it is resulting in cargo congestion and makes users of port services to cut corners in a communique. It said at the end of a one-day seminar on the pricing of port services in Nigeria with the theme Achieving Fair and Equitable Port Pricing System in Nigeria. Operators say price of services obtainable in a port can make or mar the port. According to the communique, fair and equitable pricing system ensures port efficiency, transparency, encourages private sector investments, protects the rights of both the consumers of services and investors. Nigerian ports must be worked out to discourage cutting of corners and engaging in acts that only help foreigners to dominate the nation's shipping sector. And in the aviation sector, the management of the Nigerian aviation handling company, NACO Avians PLC, has said the establishment of free trading zone at the Murtala Mohammed Airport, Lagos, will attract about $500 billion investment to the nation's economy within 5 years. This was disclosed by the chairman of the company, Malam Suleiman Yaya, during the National Executive Council meeting of the Air Transport Services Senior Staff Association of Nigeria at San Ogun State. Yaya said when the free trading zone becomes fully operational, it will create employment opportunities for many Nigerians and also boost the nation's economy with investment minimum of $10 billion. The aviation sector can be developed to international standards. The Coordinator Minister for the Economy and the Minister of Finance, Dr. Okonjo-Iweala, says has moved 39 steps up to the latest Forbes list of the most powerful women in the world. She moved from the last year's ranking of number 83 to 44, Malawian President Joyce Banda and her Liberian counterpart Ellen Johnson Sirleaf ranked 40 and 17 respectively. As well as Florenshaw Alakija, 90 are other African women on the Forbes latest list of the most powerful women in the world. The nation's gross domestic product GDP has displayed a 6.8% robust growth between 2012 and 2013, particularly given the relative sluggish global recovery since her comeback as the Minister of Finance. He stated that Okonjo-Iweala was key to developing the reform programs that help stabilize Nigeria's economy and improve governmental transparency, adding that she has now turned her attention to Nigeria's 14% unemployment rate. And on the stock market report, trading ended on a positive note today as the Nigerian Stock Exchange All Shares Index ended on a positive note on 2.9% with 41,474.40 basis points. Market capitalization increased by 295% to close at 13.69 trillion naira. Market bread closed positive as Fort Oil PLC leads 48 gainers against 11 losers start by Carverton. At the end of trading, 671.2 million shares worth 11.87 billion naira were traded in 5,869 deals. Top 5 gainers are Seplat, Fort Oil, Dangote Cement, Total and Flour Mill PLC. While Carverton led top 5 losers list, followed by Afripod, Red Star, Express PLC, Fitson PLC and Cutex PLC respectively. And here are the top 5 trades. And that's it on Business News. A Sports Time with Brown St. Wana.
A very big thanks for joining us on Sport News tonight. I am Brownson Wana. We start the news on the home front. After a pulsating 2-2 draw with Scotland last Wednesday in London, the Super Eagles have quickly taken the next step towards its World Cup preparation by arriving in the United States city of Philadelphia for its next round of friendly against another World Cup-bound squad, Greece. In a carefully scripted World Cup planned by the Nigerian Football Federation, the Super Eagles left London on Thursday. All the invited 30 players are on the trip as the battle for shirts before the World Cup takes a final bend, with head coach Stephen Keshi expected to name his final 23-man list in the next 48 hours. Meanwhile, German-based defender Leo Balogun says he has been following the progress of the team in London and wishes them the very best of luck in Brazil. And now to the Nigerian Professional Football Leagues, where Kano Pillars and Enyimba International will lock horns in this weekend's week 17th fixture of the Nigerian Premier League. Table toppers Sharks of Port Harcourt will play away to Taraba FC. Giwa vs Nimbe City. Sunshine Stars takes on El Kanemi Warriors, while Dolphins will trade tackles with Lobby Stars. In other fixtures, Aqua United play host to Crown FC. Kaduna United travels to Enugu to take on Rangers. Abia Warriors go head-to-head with Gombe United, while Warri Wolves welcome Nasarawa United at the Warri Township Stadium. And now to the English Premier League. Arsene Wenger has agreed a new 3-year deal to remain at Arsenal until 2017. The contract could be signed and announced as soon as Saturday. Wenger, 64, has led Arsenal to 8 major trophies since joining the team in September 1996. This season, he guided the Gunners to a 17th consecutive Champions League qualification and ended a 9-year wait for his silverware with a victory over Hull City in the FA Cup finals. Real Madrid have been ordered to close part of their Bernabeu Stadium during their next European match as a punishment for racism behavior by fans. The Spanish club were charged following the home leg of their Champions League semi-final game against Bayern Munich in April. European football governing body UEFA ruled Real must shut 2 sections of the 81,000-seater stadium in their next tie. The newly crowned European champion must also put banners bearing UEFA's No Racism slogan in the closed sections. And finally on Sport News tonight, in the world of tennis, where Novak Djokovic and Roger Federer both had to work hard for their wins in the 3rd round of the French Open. Second seed Novak Djokovic dropped a set against Marin Cilic for only the 3rd time in 9 meetings, but came away with a 6-3, 6-2, 6-7, 6-4 win. 4th seed Federer, whose only Paris title came in 2009, beat Dmitry Tusova 7-5, 6-7, 6-2, 6-4. In the women's draws, Maria Sharapova is through with a 6-love win over world number 75 Polo Ormeche. The Russian 7th seed will now play 19th seed Australian Samantha Stosur, who caused a minor upset with a 6-4, 6-4 win over Dominika Kibuskova. And that's a wrap on Sport News tonight. I am Brownson Uwana. Frank Omalape will be back with the rest of the news. Stay with us.
That has been business and sport news from Sabena and Brownson Uwana. For more information on our news and other programs tonight, visit our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow us on Twitter at CoreTV News NG, and also on YouTube, www.youtube.com/CoreTV News. Well, to the rest of the news now. Hundreds of protesters has jeered at the Warsaw burial of Poland's last communist leader, Wojciech Jaruzelski, in a sign. The controversial figure continues to polarize polls even in death. Police stepped in to keep order as demonstrators chanted out with communism and go to Moscow as they turned with Jaruzelski's ashes was interred in the military wing of the historic Powalski Cemetery during a ceremony aired live on national television. Some protesters held up pictures of victims of the brutal 1981 martial law crackdown imposed by Jaruzelski, who died Sunday at age 90, with captions that said, "Disgraceful." The general was laid to rest with full military honors following a funeral paid for by the state, but where was no national mourning, and the event lacked the usual pomp afforded to a late head of state. Stricken with cancer, Jaruzelski died just days ahead of ceremonies marking a quarter-century since the June 4 semi-free elections in Poland that heralded the demise of communism, the very system that nurtured him. The three of Poland's post-1989 democratically elected president, including anti-communist icon Lech Walesa, who led the freedom-fighting Solidarity Trade Union, attended his Catholic funeral mass at Warszaw's military cathedral. President Bronisław Komorowski and former head of state Aleksander Kwaśniewski also attended the church service, during which several dozen protesters brandished placards accusing Jaruzelski of being a traitor. Jaruzelski was born into a Roman Catholic family of minor nobility on July 6, 1923 in Kuro, eastern Poland, but adhered to atheism after joining the Communist Party later in life. But days before his death in hospital, he asked for a priest to undergo the Catholic sacrament of confession and last rites. Father Robert Mozicki said in a statement ahead of the ceremonies. His only daughter, Monika Jaruzelski, told local press that her father saw himself as a soldier and always wanted to be buried alongside his comrades in arms. Ukraine claimed it had regained control of swathes of the separatist east, even as Washington expressed concern over the appearance of fighters from Russia's war-ravaged region of Chechnya among the insurgents. The rebels, for their part, dismissed speculation of a rift in their ranks after a dozen local militants were evicted from their seat of power in Donetsk by a military brigade comprised largely of Chechens and other Russians from the volatile North Caucasus. Both Kiev and its Western allies have long accused the Kremlin of choreographing a 7-week insurgency that has shaken Ukraine's foundations, a charge that Russian President Vladimir Putin denies. But the recent appearance among the separatists of trained gunmen from Chechnya, a mostly Muslim region that fell under Kremlin control following 2 post-Soviet wars for independence, has fueled fears of the conflict being transformed into a proxy war involving elements from other unstable regions of the former Soviet Union. Ukraine's acting defense minister says his forces were in high spirits despite the downing of a military helicopter on Thursday by the rebels that killed 11 soldiers and a general. Pro-Russian militants seized about a dozen towns and cities in the 2 eastern industrial regions in response to the popular ouster in Kiev of a Kremlin-backed president. Rebels in control of the Lugansk and Donetsk government buildings have declared independence and are seeking a merger with Russia similar to that accomplished by Ukraine's Black Sea Peninsula of Crimea following its seizure by pro-Kremlin troops in March. Well, just before we round up, here is a summary of our major stories tonight. We told you that members of Boko Haram have killed the emir of Goza in Borno State following an ambush on his way to a funeral ceremony. We also brought you a report that Defense Headquarters has uncovered plot by some groups to discredit the military as battle against insurgency continues. Well, and that has been the show tonight on CoreTV Prime Time News. Many thanks for watching. I am Franco Malape. For all of us here, we'll say bye for now.